Hello and welcome back to yet another video. If you've just watched the first one, welcome back. If you haven't watched the first one, then make sure to go up and check that link that I'm going to put up here. That will take you back to the first video where I'm doing a tour of the apartment that we are now looking into. So now we're getting into the fun part. We are starting the demolition. We are starting to take things apart to see how the apartment is looking. And I have to admit all the way up front here that the first pieces of video that you'll be seeing is quite a lot of time lapses. That's how we again, I'm new to all of this filming world, so I'll probably do a few explanations along the way, but today you are in for a treat in terms of exciting things happening in the video. It might not be as exciting for me because it involves a lot of problems, but I think the only way to tackle them is head on, and this is definitely growing a lot of hair on my chest. And giving me a very, very steep learning curve, this entire project. But more on that later on. Now I'll let you go and grab your popcorn, I'll let you go and grab your soda, go and grab some coffee, whatever you want, and then sit back and enjoy the video, and then I'll see you in a bit. Quickly jumping in with a small voiceover here. The first thing you can see me and my girlfriend doing is that we're ripping up the old carpets. It was smokers that have been living in this apartment, so it was quite smelly. Then we took up the underlayment underneath the carpets and actually noticed a quite level floor, which we were surprised to see. Then I tried to steam off the wallpaper. Spoiler alert, that didn't really work. And then decided to crack on with some other stuff. The next phase we moved into was actually cracking on with some big closets that were up on the room upstairs. Bear in mind this was quite late at night, and we were actually banging around quite a lot in the apartment, so we actually got some complaints from the neighbours. But as it's the first project that we're doing, we try to tackle it and try to be as quiet as possible, taking these closets down. So we got them down, and that really unearthed the size of the room. Next day we were up again bright and early and got cracking with the next few things. First thing was to clean up our mess from the day before, taking down all the closets. They were not going to be reused. And then it was just the start of taking off the trim of the entire living room, actually in all of the rooms. Started taking down a few other things. So trim all around, here starting in the living room, and then in a second jumping upstairs, which you can see now. And it was both the trim that was down by the floor, but also the trim that was up close to the ceiling that we took off. The reason why we wanted to take all of that off was because we wanted to expose the entirety of the walls to figure out how we should tackle them. Again, first time doing this, so a lot of learning and a lot of questions, so we took off as much as we can. Next thing we did was that we popped upstairs and I started demolishing a walk-in closet, if you could call it that. The reason why I demolished this was because it was taking up quite a lot of space, to be honest, and I wasn't really happy about the layout of the second floor, so I wanted to redo the entire layout on the second floor and move it from being 2 rooms to being 3 rooms. So the first thing was to take out this walk-in closet. Here you can see how fit of a job it is, getting help from both my girlfriend and my mom. And funnily enough, this is also where the electricity panel for the entire apartment sits. The next thing we're doing, and you can see how dusty it is, all of this work that we're doing in the time lapse here, is that we took off the flooring and started cleaning up the other room. I call this the L room, so I'm getting help from my girlfriend, my mom, and one of my good friends, Nicholas. And again, it's rinse and repeat in the big room where we just took out this walk-in closet. Away with the flooring, away with the skirting boards, away with all the trim to see what we had working with. Obviously, we tried to be as delicate as we possibly could, avoiding damaging the walls as limited as we could, avoiding damaging the pipes that are running for the radiators, really trying to avoid any real damage in the apartment here, to keep what we were supposed to do at a very minimum. So the next thing we cracked on was actually starting with the plastering. And the reason why we jumped directly to the plastering was because, quite frankly, we didn't know better. And this is the first time I'm trying to plaster a wall. So I've been out to the local DIY store. I bought some plaster. I bought a roller because I read that it was easier to put it on if you rolled it on first and then just put it out afterwards. So gave it a go, and I think it actually looks quite nicely on the video. Looking back on it, in all fairness, I know from back in the days it wasn't really the easiest. So it's hard for you to see, but you can definitely see that there's a coat of plaster coming on board on top of the current walls. The reason why we wanted to add this plaster was because I didn't like the texture of the walls. They have this glass fiber added to it, and I wasn't too fond of that material, so I wanted to have nice, slick and clean walls. And now, having learned how to plaster by doing it on 2 walls, I figured I might as well give my girlfriend and my good friend Nicholas a good lesson in how to plaster. And in all fairness, I think the way that we got it done was working quite well. So we were quite happy, and that was actually just until my brother arrived. Okay, there's actually quite a good reason why I'm stopping the video right now. And the reason why I'm stopping the video right now is because we did discover something very, very important that we need to address. Okay, just jumping back a second here, you might be wondering, why is this guy wearing some different glasses than he was in the beginning of the video? Why is his hair not as long? I'm shooting this video about 6 months after I did the last editing. I ended up completing the project, and now I'm going to sit down and do actually all the video. So I don't know how many episodes this is going to end up with, but you're definitely in for a ride. So let me show you why it was not so good that my brother arrived, and why it was good as well, because we discovered some things. Okay, you'll see now. So my brother arrived that very same evening as we'd been plastering in the L room, and he walked into the big room and he said, Rune, I've noticed you've taken off the skirting board, everything's looking fine, but there's something that's black down there where the wall is meeting the floor. And he said, okay, we definitely have to explore this. Started opening it up, and we saw this. And quite quickly after we saw that, and before we all knew it, the entire room was looking like this. The reason why that happened is because when I took over this entire building a couple of years ago, there had been a leak in the roof over what is called the smoke shaft. The smoke shaft is going up on where the staircase is leading up to the 2 apartments that's on the first floor. I don't want to bore you too much with the details as this right now, you just need to know the background. And there had been rain coming in, so when it's been raining outside, rain has been coming in from that window that's sitting at the top of that one. That had previously been fixed by the previous owner. However, they hadn't done the best of jobs. So there was quite a lot of mold growing all the way down on that smoke shaft. And the reason why we've got that smoke shaft is because of the location of the staircase being in the middle of the building, not on the side of the building. It'll make more sense, I'll explain to you later. So we started opening it up, and quickly it looked like this, and it came to this, and then it jumped to this, and all of a sudden we had like a complete open second floor, and then the real work could start. So yeah, that's where we landed at. So I think this is actually a good place to conclude this video. We have discovered some quite worrying things in the apartment that we need to explore further. And quite frankly, I have no experience with working with renovating an apartment entirely, for one thing. The second thing is I've got no experience in working with mold or growth of said thing on walls or on wood or anything. So I think we have to dial an expert that can come and have a look at it. Bear in mind that this is just before Christmas last year, so finding an expert was not the easiest, but in the next episode you're going to see me have a quick walkthrough with the expert and figuring out where this mold is coming from. And I'm probably going to add a few more details also to what will be the next steps in order to tackle the scenario that we are exploring right now. Another thing I want to put up just as a final element here is that I'm very keen on getting your feedback in terms of what you think of the editing, what you think of the format as a whole, what do you like, what do you dislike. Please put that in the comment below. And again, as I mentioned a bit earlier in the video, there's going to be tons of episodes coming out, and I'm hoping to get an episode out a week, depending on how busy I am in real life in terms of how much I can get done. Again, making videos, renovating an apartment, everything that I'm throwing myself out to right now, I'm completely new to all of it. So I really don't have any sense of time, and I'm always time optimistic. You can ask my girlfriend about that. She thought the apartment would be done in 3 months. It took 10 months. So yeah, I hope to get a video out every week. But again, what do you like? What don't you like? Put that in the comments. Hit the subscribe button and follow along on the journey. And then I will see you in the next one. Cheers.